which anime characters would I let date my daughter? Now, I don't have a daughter. I'm too young for that shit. But if I did, who would get to carry on the Lettuce Lord family name? I picked 21 of the most iconic and clickable anime main characters in order to find out, and it's not looking good for my bloodline. Okay. Up first, we have the man, the myth, the future pirate king, Monkey D. Luffy. Now, on paper, Monkey D. Luffy is perfect for my daughter. He's ambitious, persistent, outgoing, great at making friends, but you see, Luffy has a history of getting women he cares about kidnapped. Combine that with also actively antagonizing the world government and constantly putting himself and his entire crew in harm's way. No, Luffy is going directly into absolutely not. Call me crazy, but I want my future daughter to be safe and in the hands of someone who will not constantly have to rescue her, which is why I'm putting Izuku Midoriya as a yes. Midoriya has a lot of the positive traits that Luffy does, but he's a lot less likely to put my daughter in danger. He's probably the hardest worker on this list besides maybe Goku. He's smart, empathetic, humble, and quite frankly, out of all the other dumpster fires on this list, he gets my seal of approval. I can picture him taking my daughter out to a nice dinner and even having her home before 7, even though I didn't ask him to do that. Only reason I'm not buying the ring myself is because he does seem like he's a crybaby just a little bit, but I guess that's kind of the popular thing right now. So yeah, 2 thumbs up from me. Naruto Uzumaki. Bro, I'm buying you that ring. Easy. Not only is Naruto one of the few characters on this list who we've seen in a loving, caring relationship, but he's also just a good dude. I think if I had to pick only one green flag that perfectly sums up Naruto more than any other one, it's definitely his loyalty. Naruto is similar to Luffy in the sense that if he chooses you as one of his people, he will never give up on you, no matter how much you try to make him. And that's a man who I would gladly welcome into my household. Also super strong, boom, checked it off the list, and willing to talk through literally any issue because talk no jutsu goes burr. And he's basically Ninja Jesus. And who wouldn't want their daughter to date Ninja Jesus? Yeah, Naruto, unlike Dak Prescott, you can get that ring. Okay, the next one's gonna be a little divisive because I know people don't like Fairy Tail, but I don't care. When I tell you Natsu is the other person who I would easily buy a ring for on this list, I mean it with my entire heart. Natsu is the exact kind of person that you want to date your daughter. He's energetic, upfront, honest, and completely selfless. Loyalty is clearly also like a running theme here, but beyond all that good stuff, he has plot armor. If my daughter is in danger, there is zero doubt in my mind that the plot armor gods will make sure that Natsu gets her back unharmed. Also, he's family oriented, which is a green flag. Just look at the way he treats his guild. And maybe I could join Fairy Tail if he marries my daughter. Maybe they'd let me join. Maybe I could be part of them. And if I put Naruto into I'll buy the ring, even though he's kind of an absent father, I'll be damned if I don't put Natsu right here. Also, we're just gonna ignore the fact that he's a huge threat to my home burning down and move on. Next, we have Senku, and I'm kind of struggling where to put him. On one hand, he's rational, he's a great leader, he's probably the smartest man to ever live. On the other hand, he might be a little bit too curious with all the sciencey stuff he's got going on over there. I honestly think he's probably more likely to burn my house down than Natsu, and that's saying something. He also doesn't have the best sleep schedule. I'll probably find him tinkering away in the garage on a microwave he's trying to turn into a submarine at like 4 o'clock in the morning. As a make-believe dad, I just couldn't stand for that. The more I think about it, I'm tempted to put him into Could Be Convinced, even though initially I had thought I'd put him in Curfew. You know what? Yeah, you'd have to really sell me on Senku, but just because of how smart and logical he is, he could turn out as a great catch for my future daughter. He's going in right here to Could Be Convinced. Saitama. I've never had an easier, absolutely not. Besides just eating cup noodles and buying everything he needs at the gas station, Saitama has all of the red flags. All of them. Every single one. Because he's so strong, he's pretty much always bored, emotionally detached, and he has zero ambition because he literally has all the strength. Like, dude, like, bro, what else does he need? The only reason he's not in Shoot Me First is because this tier is reserved for the true nutcases on this list. Like, I don't know, maybe Light Yagami? You know what, let's just skip down and do Light right now. Shoot me first, buddy. You are not coming near my home. The second I lay eyes on this man, it's wraps, it's done, it's over. I'm grabbing my iron sword and my nearest monkey lamp and throwing everything I have at this man before he can write my fucking name down. Light Yagami is the biggest scumbag on this list, and I put him here just to dunk on him and because he looked good in the thumbnail. Tanjiro, the Demon Slayer boy. Boy, you better have her home by 8. I know exactly what you do after 8 o'clock. You go out, you hunt demons. Nuh-uh, not here. Not with my daughter. Before 8, you're a great dude. Compassionate, honorable, patient, all green flags, all great stuff for my daughter. But after 8, he hunts vampires. They are not demons, they are vampires. As someone who has watched quite a bit of vampire media, hell no. I do not need my daughter near a vampire because I know exactly what route that goes down every single time. Her making stupid decisions and putting herself in danger. Nope, she's cooked, she's done. No, 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 no. Now, Thorfinn I put on this list twice because season 1 is a shoot me first, no hesitation, and season 2 is a yes. Thorfinn is just such a strikingly different character between these 2 seasons that I felt like I had to do both. Season 1 Thorfinn is obsessed with revenge. Okay, that's not good, like, at all, but he also has no regard for human life in general, whether it's someone else's or his. Thorfinn is not a good person until he is. Season 2 Thorfinn, you still have a dark past, so I don't think I can buy the ring for the guy, but you've come so far, man. Like, I'm so proud of you. He's a pacifist. He has a dream to build a peaceful world, or a world without war, or I guess a place without war with Vinland. He's able to reflect on the things he's done wrong while also having an accurate view of himself. I feel like he'd be great at talking things out and taking feedback on things he does wrong or could improve on. That right there is the mark of a true man. I would gladly welcome Thorfinn as my son and welcome him into my home as long as it's season 2 Thorfinn. Yami Yugi, absolutely not. Now, I want you guys to ask yourself, would you let a guy with a slight, mild, severe gambling problem date your daughter? I'm gonna give a hot take here and say no is what you thought I would say. Yugi, though, Yugi's a winner. This is a man who gambles and wins. If you could win every time you gamble, which Yugi almost always will, you have my blessing, dog. You know, I could probably convince him to rent out his services to Genshin addicts so that they can get their 5-star waifus, and then he and I can just rake in the profits. Okay, buddy, yep, we are moving you all the way to the top of yes. You and your new father-in-law are going places. Not college, Vegas. You know who isn't going in the yes tier, though? Itadori. I'm gonna take Itadori as we see him in the anime because I'm trying to forget the manga. That means he comes with Sukuna. My daughter is going to die. Absolutely not. Yuji is also a borderline sociopath with how much traumatic shit he has witnessed. And you know what? Shibuya. That's all I had to say. Hell no. Let's do the next one. Eren Yeager. Oh boy. When I said that a lot of anime protagonists aren't exactly qualified for relationships, this is what I meant. This guy had his childhood friend throwing herself at him, giving him the most obvious cues, and just said, actually, guys, I'm just gonna commit genocide. Ooh, oopsie, my bad, guys. Eren, I'm gonna put you in to shoot me first because you would shoot me first. I tell him that, and he would just do it. And pre-time skip Eren is no better. Not at all. Not even going to touch that one with a 10-foot pole. I don't need Eren anywhere near this house, and I definitely don't need him anywhere near anyone I care about, much less my daughter. Eren is a bad person. But you know who isn't a bad person? She's just emotionally distant. Frieren. Frieren is the one woman on this tier list, and she needs to represent hard. Luckily, I think she does. So the biggest downside of Frieren is she's just a horrible judge of time. So she needs to have my daughter home by 8, or I won't see her for a decade. Other than that, though, Frieren is great. She is super strong, extremely wise because of her elf lifespan. She's dependable. I mean, guys, she's even going beyond the journey's end. Yeah, she's still going. And guys, that's like the #1 thing in a relationship is just commitment. Not that hard. She's very low maintenance, financially speaking, too, which is also always a plus. Can't say the same for a lot of the guys on this list who will eat you into crippling debt. And I think most important of all, she's like definitely the most stable individual on this list. In fact, she's so emotionally stable that it kind of might become a detriment. But I don't want to talk about that because I don't want to convince myself to move her down. And since it's my list, I'm just gonna move on. Goku. I don't want to hear it. Goku is great. Outside of being the strongest character that most people can think of, and therefore your daughter is never gonna be in danger, he's also just incapable of lying. You always know Goku's gonna be genuine and honest with your daughter. If he wants to go fight somewhere, he's gonna tell her, hey, it's me, Goku. I'm leaving, probably for a few years, but I'm gonna go fight somebody. But he can also just instantly come back with instant transmission, so like, really, what are you missing? And I know there's the meme of him being a bad father. And sure, he does often make some pretty bad parenting decisions. This isn't a list about that. It's whether I, as a father, would let him date my imaginary, hypothetical, future daughter. Goku gets a yes from me, and so far, I think this is the most surprising entry to me on this list. I just really hope he doesn't ask me to spar with him or any of my grandchildren. Gon is a sociopath. In Gon's case, it would be a play date because he's 12, and no, I don't want him playing with my daughter, but he would be an awesome fishing partner. Okay, honestly, now that I look at it, the rest of the list is pretty simple. Kirito. You know, despite being in the anime community when hate for it was at its peak, I gotta give Kirito credit. We saw him in a loving relationship in season 1. I didn't watch beyond that, but going off of what I saw in season 1, you're goddamn right I'm letting him date my daughter. Only thing is, he's a little bit, edgy. Like, bro, you're not him. You're not Guts. You don't have to dress in all black and use a black sword. Come on, bro. The green sword is cooler anyway. Because of that, Kirito, you better have her home by 8, because I'm just not gonna open that can of worms. And judging solely on appearances, because I haven't watched SAO in 10 years, I don't trust him. Lelouch, he's a manipulative prick. He's one of my favorite anime protagonists ever, and that's why I'm saying, shoot me first. I don't need my daughter directly involved in a rebellion for the same reason that she cannot go out with Luffy. Except for with Luffy, somehow, she'd probably be safer. Man, this is a speed round, isn't it? Hinata from Haikyuu. When I watched Haikyuu for the first time years ago during lockdown, I hated this guy. But I've grown as a person, which means by the time I'm old enough to be a father, you're damn right I would let my daughter date Hinata. This short king gets a yes from me without hesitation and not just out of pity. Talk about resilience and being a hard worker. Bro is able to compete in a sport about height while being, you know, not 6'4". If my daughter is willing to give a short guy a chance, who am I to get in the way? There are a few red flags that as a father, I would definitely keep an eye on. Hinata is very impulsive, like, wow. So much so that how much energy he has can definitely rub people the wrong way, but he just like me for real. So, yeah, sure, buddy. Ichigo is someone I could be convinced on. I make fun of Bleach a lot, but I like Ichigo. He's brave, loyal, strong, protective, and when the lights are bright, this guy comes in clutch saying, "Now you feel like number one." That said, he's kind of a danger magnet, like Naruto on steroids. He just so happens to be at the core of Aizen finally making his move and the Quincy's making their move. You know, the two biggest in-universe events being directly tied to him. That's not a threat level I can freely allow. But he has enough positive traits where I could be convinced it would just take a while. Sung Jinwoo, resident aura farmer. Just like Thorfinn, I had to separate the two Sung Jinwoos. We're gonna rank Sung Jinwoo up till the end of season 1 as a, I could be convinced. He's determined to help his mom, and I respect that, I really do. The problem is, he's probably not gonna come back one day because he's weaker than like a goblin. That's not good. I don't want my daughter to have that trauma. That would suck. But after season 2, when he acquires true aura and drip, that's an absolutely not. Never, and I mean never, let a man who looks like this near your daughter. Have you seen how people talk about dudes who look like this on the internet? Because I have. If you thought what happened with Nanami from JJK was bad, nuh-uh, not gonna do it. And finally, I figured we'd wrap up on a good note. I'm buying the ring for Jonathan Joestar. Like, he's just a chill dude. He has great manners, because, you know, 1800s England, just a stand-up guy. He also definitely tips his waiter, which I can't say about pretty much anyone else on this list. And he's built like an ox. I'm not saying that we need to start Project Miles Garrett, but if we did, this would be where we start. You know, I'm surprised how many of these got my approval. On paper, they're all dumpster fires, but I guess I just have really low standards for my non-existent daughter. That's the list though. If you disagree, let me know. If you agree, also let me know. Like, subscribe. Thanks. Bye.